Follow along with me as I make these beautiful polymer clay and copper earrings. I'm going to take a small piece of gold clay and a big piece of a combination that I made coral clay with using orange and pink, and then I'm just going to make a big ball with it by rolling it together inside my hands. Once I have the ball done, then I roll it out on a flat surface, cut a small piece off because for those earrings you don't need but so much clay, so I'm going to get rid of that. Then I'm going to continue to roll it out into like a long worm or snake on my desk. When you're doing this, you want to make sure that you have a clean, dry, and just lint-free surface, because every little thing that's on the surface, you're going to be rolling it into the clay by mistake, and nobody wants to see a dirty piece of clay. So just make this why I put white paper down to make sure it's nice and clean. Once I had the snake rolled out to the desired thickness I want the earrings to be, I'm taking my X-Acto knife, and I just got this in Target, and I'm just guesstimating using my eyes how big I want the earrings to be, how big I want the pieces of clay to be. They're not going to be this big in the end or that size in the end, but that's about as much clay as I think I'm going to use. So there was about a little over an inch of clay that I cut out. Then once again, it's rolling. Making these earrings mostly involves just rolling, so these are a really quick and simple, easy pair of earrings to make for that reason. Once I had it rolled into a ball, I'm just going to take some of my gold clay, soften it up so I can get it to do what I need it to do, pull off a small piece, roll that into a ball again, and then make that into a worm. Now that I have the long worm, I'm going to cut 4 pieces because I'm going to be taking these 4 pieces, making them smaller and wrapping them around the clay to give it a little bit of a design. So once I have my 4 pieces cut with my X-Acto knife, again I'm rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Now that it's rolled out to the thickness I want the little gold pieces, I'm just wrapping them around the tops of the little balls I made earlier. And I want to make sure that the ends touch. So as you see, I had to readjust it because the piece wasn't long enough to go down as further as I initially thought it was going to go. But this is why it was good to lightly place the gold on top so it wouldn't automatically be stuck and I could adjust it. So now I have the last piece of gold clay wrapped around my clay balls. That's what she said. And then now that I have them in the desired position I want them to be, I'm just going to begin to, before I roll them, I'm actually going to put something in the bottom. So I'm going to grab a last little bit of scrap clay, roll those into 2 little even circles. And I'm going to place those circles at the bottom to make it look like a little dot or a little nipple, if you will. And now I'm going to roll it in again. If you want to make sure that the clay lines, gold lines, don't move, which is something I didn't think about, you're going to want to press them in firmly into the clay first. This will make sure that if you want them to be specifically where you set them, meaning if you want clean, clear lines, press the clay in first. But I didn't do that. I was going for a more organic feel. So I'm just rolling the clay, the gold clay in now, and making to make sure that it's all flush, it's all the same surface, so there's nothing sticking out. Once I did that, now I'm just going to start rolling it into a worm or a tube shape, because that's how the earrings are going to look in the end. So now it's just a matter of figuring out how long you want your tubes to be. I like a nice, good, a little over an inch, about an inch and a quarter. Once I have them rolled out, I'm taking, and this is just some wire you can pick up from any Michaels, Joann's, AC Moore 20 gauge copper wire. Is tarnish resistant, and some cutters that you can pick up in the same store. Both of these supplies are really inexpensive. And then I'm just cutting off 2 pieces of wire. I didn't measure them, but I usually go for about 1.5 inches to 2 inches for earring posts, just to be on the safe side. And now I'm taking some small round nose pliers, and I'm bending the ends of the wire. That's because I'm going to be placing the wire inside of the clay. before I bake it. And I'm doing this for two reasons. So I'm bending the wire to make sure that it doesn't just easily pull out once the clay is baked and hardened, to make it a lot more sturdy and long lasting, so you don't have to worry about, oh, my ear wire popped out, because it's going to have to wind its way back through. So I put about 3 bends in the wire, making it look like a little lightning bolt, and then I'm just going to lightly press it in. Since this clay was worked pretty well, it's nice and soft, so it didn't take too much pressure to push the wire in. After you get the wire in, you just want to go ahead and try to close up the hole at the top, and I like to do that by making it a little more tapered. This also makes the overall earring appearance look a little nicer, a lot more feminine, I guess you would say, when you try to taper the tops a little. So now that I did the first one, I'm going to quickly move on to the second one. Now I'm just going to roll this on out, try to taper it, but also keep in mind trying to make sure that both earrings are still even and match up. So once they match, you feel confident they match up, you can go ahead and continue trying to taper out the top. Both earrings match, the tops are nicely tapered and the holes are closed, so we're going to get ready to bake our earrings. Place your earrings on the oven tray, no grease, and bake them at 375 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes. About 15 to 20 minutes later, my earrings are rock hard and have cooled down. The ear wires are securely placed inside the earrings, so no need for any glue. To make the wires, I'm going to go ahead and take my wire jig. I've already put some of the pegs in to make ear posts. That's what you see at the bottom, a big one and then a little circle underneath. So I'm going to using that specific part of the jig, which again you can find at any AC Moore, Joann's, Michaels. I'm going to take the first earring, and right now I'm just looking for the most interesting part of the earring, which is where that slight imperfection happened, and I'm going to have that be the front of the earring. So in order to do so, and I'm trying to get a good angle for you to see, I'm going to focus my first bend of the ear wire on that part. So I'm bending the wire forward away from the earring to get a nice little indent, and then I'm going to gently push backwards now, creating the loop. But I'm not going to go all the way around, and you'll see why in a second. So I stopped the loop at about 80 to 90%. And now I'm just doing the same thing with the other earring, finding the most interesting part, using the small circle to bend forward, and then taking the big circle to bend all the way around. Now that my ear wires are formed, I'm going to go ahead and hammer them out and stiffen them up so they can be permanently in this shape, using a small jewelry hammer, a little stainless steel bench block, rubber for sound reduction, and a sandbag for sound reduction as well. And I'm doing all this on a cheap wooden table I got at Target. So you just want to go ahead and stiffen up that wire by lightly hammering. You don't want to hammer it too hard because you don't want to make the wire too thick. So if you had a bad week, this is a good day to make some earrings, because you can take out all those frustrations on this poor little piece of wire. Now that my ear wires have been stiffened, I'm going to go ahead and glaze these earrings. They're hanging on a DIY dryer rack I made using some 10 gauge copper wire. Now you see the reason why I didn't form the ear hooks completely is because I wanted to dip these earrings and not have to paint them. It just makes more sense, it's easier, it's quicker, it's faster, and I get more even coverage without any paint marks by just dipping them in the bottle of glaze. And again, this is something you can pick up when you pick up all the other supplies at AC Moore, Joann's, Michaels, all that stuff. So I'm just dipping the earrings, brushing off any excess with a cheap little paintbrush, drips at the bottom, because if you don't, this is where you will have a little drip mark hanging, although it does dry crystal clear. Give it about 30 minutes and then you'll have these wonderful earrings. So thank you for watching. Please be sure to check out my other videos and subscribe if you're interested.